into our conversation for the morning. And of course, it has a lot to do with the planned screening of the some of the former commissioners. And this is supposed to happen tomorrow. Yes. The names of those commissioners include the statement that was released and forwarded to our correspondent by lawmaker Enemi George. He speaks for the Martin Amaewhule-led lawmakers. The statement signed by Emeka Amadi as clerk of the House listed the commissioner nominees for screening and confirmation to include Zakio Dadango, Jacobson Imbina, Gift Wolu, Inime Chinwenwo Aguma, Chukwemeka Woke. Others are Chinedu Mom, George Kelly Alabo, Isaac Kamalu, and Austin Ben Chioma. All of these are former commissioners who resigned willingly for their opposition, citing several personal reasons. In our conversations with those that we've been able to speak with, what the personal reasons were was not stated, but this is what the situation is. The statement also said the nominees are to appear before the Martin Amaewhule-led House of Assembly tomorrow. And the lawmaker said they were nominated by the governor. That's what they said. But then whether an official statement from the government confirming that we did not see. We did not also get any official statement from the commissioner to confirm that the government was behind sending those names to the assembly for screening. So that is where we are with this. But another interesting thing we should know, which we thought would have been the process if you had listened this morning, the report that also came was that some new permanent secretaries at the State Civil Service are supposed to be sworn in today. Yes, and about 16 of them are to be sworn in today. So the ideal thing people would think was the same manner in which the government put out these names and said these people should have been how perhaps these names would have been also made public by the government and presented to the assembly for screening. Most of the times when this thing happens, that would be standard procedure. Anyways, we'll find out more as we join my guest, Solomon Lenu, spokesperson for the Rivers State Civil Society organizations. Mr. Lenu, good morning to you and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, Andrew. Thank you for having me, and good morning, Rivers.
So our conversation has to do with the effect of this planned screening of the former commissioners. My question on Facebook to you, are you worried about who returns as commissioner? If you say you are, you have to tell us why. Are you concerned about who returns as commissioner and why? That is the question. Let us know what your thoughts are on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. And don't forget, you can also respond to the reports we got about a new permanent secretary, 16 of them that will be sworn in today by the governor. And this is supposed to be happening at the Executive Council chambers of the Government House today, Tuesday, 16 January. Mr. Lenu, let's get to you now. What is the procedure before commissioners are appointed? Perhaps something is missing, because what we got from the report was that the Assembly is inviting 9 of the recently resigned commissioners for screening. This is supposed to happen on Wednesday. We did not get any official statement from the executive arm of government, the governor of the state, saying that these names have been submitted to the assembly for screening to be appointed as commissioners. What's your view about this?
Well, thank you, Andrew, and I want to thank your organization for the good work that you guys have been doing in trying to promote democracy and good governance in real estate. But I think it's painful that while other states, have positioned themselves, towards progress, we are in, the hoops, having a political quagmire that is not letting us move forward. Now, in answering your question, I want to, pick you from what someone said on the program this morning, because I was following up. Someone said this morning that we're having a parallel government in Rivers State, and I think I want to, go on the same path with that correspondent or that listener who actually said that.
And I think we should correct that before you go on, because for you to say there's a parallel government, okay, because I don't think we do.
I want to give you my own perspective, I think I buy that idea, and I'm also doing that part because if you look at what is playing out today, the political scenario in Rivers State today, it appears to be so because every now and then we see two functions. If today, like yesterday, you understand, the governor was having the function of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day and all of that. You could also see that if the minister had not been in Abuja, they would do the same thing here. Every time you have the function of government, you have another one taking place somewhere. In fact, something happened a few days ago when the minister of the FCT came to Rivers State and did something that is completely and totally against the law by bringing the seal of the FCT to Rivers State without any function, without the FCT ministry having any function here in Rivers State. He brought that seal to Rivers State and stood on the podium as another governor because that seal only goes with executive leaders of the state or the country to their function. And then you begin to ask, why are all this happening? Now, to come to the assembly members and the call for screening as they have done, rightly pointed out, if the state government, the state governor was in tandem with that action, I'm sure that by now, a written memo or invitation or directive from governor would have been made public. But up to this moment, as I speak, I'm not sure that anybody has seen something of that nature. Even when just yesterday, memos came from the governor's office for permanent secretaries that are going to be.
But do you think the appointment of the new permanent secretaries might be in response to the screening of the former commissioners?
Well, there's a saying by Sir Isaac Newton that to every action is an opposite and equal reaction. But I don't want to preempt, the governor because I don't know the reasons for which he's appointing these PAM secretaries at this moment. But for what we know, the previous government for the last 8 years never promoted civil servants. There were a lot of vacancies, you understand. Promotion of directors and key officers in the civil service were stalled. So it just might be in a way to, position the civil service in such a way that allows them to function optimally. That just might be, the reason. But I'm just preempting the government now because I don't have a definite reason for which they're doing that. But now come to look at it. The issue of screening people who, on their own, voluntarily resigned and cited personal reasons. Now coming back to try, because what I have seen now is some sort of imposition. Because if the governor had not made public or had not forwarded these names, and the assembly, the ex-assembly members as they are right now, are trying to now call for their screening. It means that they are trying to impose these people on the government. And we ask the question, can two work together? It's the Bible that said, can two work together except they agree? The answer is no. And then we are here in Rivers State, we know the political tension that has been going on, in the PDP between the state government and the minister of the FCT. And then the right thing that should be done, if at all, the man at the center of this whole crisis had the good intention or the welfare of Rivers people, had the best thing that would have been done at this point, even if he wants to see, maintaining his hold on the structure, so to say, we are going to forward meanings because whether we like it or not, these commissioners who resigned have demonstrated insubordination to the governor. They have openly taken sides with the minister. So now, if for any reason we are talking peace, which is the panacea to any development, and we are talking peace, and then the minister actually wanted peace, the right thing that he would have done at this point was to say, okay, since I still want a hold, I still want a part of this government, let me bring new names. And then these new people now can now be submissive to the government, or even if their loyalty will still be to him, but then there will be some level of respect, understanding between them, because that is what is needed at this moment to move the government forward. But when you go and bring the same people that are openly taking sides against the government, to come back into the government, what and how do you expect that they are going to work together? And if we actually wanted progress of this state, should that be the right thing? It's not a very.
So are you saying that the screening of these former commissioners, and possibly if they get reappointed, it would not bring about development in the state and growth in the various ministries that they would be heading?
Well, my brother Andrew, let me even paint a picture, that will try to drive this now. For instance, you have a wife, you married, and then for one reason or the other, she went, and cheated on you with someone else, and she was caught, and then you say you don't need this wife again, you don't want this marriage again, and some person, because they have higher power, they try to force this woman on you. What will be the mood at home? What will be the situation at home between you and this wife? That's the exact situation that they are trying to create. And I tell you that these things are not mere coincidence. These things are well orchestrated, not to undermine the government of Rivers. And then the pitfall in this is that the same people who have designed this thing and are trying to push it on the people are the same people who are going around claiming, how they love the state, how they want the welfare of the state and all of this. Whereas in essence, they are working hard to make sure that Rivers does move forward. No matter what is happening here today in Rivers State, Governor Fuba will no longer be a poor man. He's not a poor man. He will not suffer. The minister himself, that is also the one engineering most of this that is happening, is not a poor man. He will never suffer. It is poor Rivers people like you and I that will be at the receiving.
All right, Mr. Lenu, just hold your thoughts there. Let's take a short commercial now. When we come back, we would continue with the conversation. Stay with us.
My brother, I beg, where you buy this electrical? Will make your house fine like this?
Omo, na the Rock and Tea, the Rock and Tea electricals waiting for 99 room
Are you worried about who returns as commissioner? If you are, tell us why. If you are not, you can also tell us why. On Facebook, it is Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. We're looking at the proposed planned screening of former commissioners, 9 of them. This is to happen tomorrow, according to the statement that came out from the State Assembly, and the lawmakers led by Martin Amewule, signed by Emeka Amadi as clerk of the House. And those commissioner nominees were listed for screening and confirmation. Now, whether that list was sent to the Assembly by the governor of Rivers State is what we cannot confirm at this moment, because there's been no statement coming out from the government or any statement coming from the Commissioner for Information to say that these individuals and their names have been submitted for screening by the Assembly. Also, you heard this morning that new permanent secretaries are to be sworn in by the governor today, and that will be happening at the Executive Council chambers of the Government House. If you remember some time ago when all of this was at its peak, I had said, is it ever possible that everyone in this Assembly, every member in the Assembly and every commissioner and all can still work together with the governor of Rivers State for the ultimate good of and development of Rivers State? Would it be possible after all we have seen? Remember, the commissioners did not tell us exactly what their personal reasons were for resigning, but they had voluntarily resigned at the time. Some of them citing family issues, and some of them said personal reasons. Some of them said their conscience. Just different reasons that were given by some of them for their resignation. Have those reasons been sorted out? It's another thing we need to know if they are going to come back and want to work for the state. Let's also put this in perspective. It is not out of place for a person who resigned to be called back by government. That's why we wanted to know whether or not it was the governor, the state government, who sent this list to the Assembly asking that these people be screened because they are to be reappointed as commissioners. So let us get your views on it. Nigeria Info 92.3 page on Facebook. The WhatsApp number is 0809 0306416. My guest is the spokesperson for the Rivers State Civil Society Organization, Solomon Lenu. Thank you, Mr. Lenu, for staying on the line for us. Let's quickly get your point. I was asking you this question before we went on the break. Are you of the opinion, what do you think? Because from what you're saying, are you of the opinion that these commissioners returning would not yield development? I think that was the question I'd asked before the break. So if you can tell us your view to it.
It's very clear, Andrew, that two cannot work together except they decide to do so. This commissioner cited personal reasons. Some said family. Some cited some, unpatriotic reasons. Because when you're called into the service for the state, it should be a thing of joy and pride that should make you throw away every personal or pyrrhic reasons, to give your all to the state. Not everybody, gets such opportunity in their lifetime. But then, if they left and cited personal reasons, it means that they couldn't place the state above their own personal gains, of which, is not also a crime. We are wired differently. But coming back now, when the same structure that we left few months ago are still in place, nothing has changed. To want to come back, it brings up the question of morality. It brings up the question of self-worth. It brings up the question of value, you understand, for yourself. And then when you have demonstrated that you don't have value for yourself, you can say one thing today and, go and do something else tomorrow. It also means that, you are not someone that should be entrusted with public responsibilities such as the one that they are jostling for right now. Unfortunately, the person who these people are modeling after, whom they have taken as their principal, has been found, once in the same behavior several times, where you speak one thing in the morning, take a different position in the afternoon, and then in the night you're coming up with something entirely different. But then, I had always said that, look, integrity should be one of the things that Nigerians should look out for when following people or when appointing leaders or when, choosing people to support. Because a man that does not have integrity, cannot conquer its own personal greed, because of course everybody is selfish in nature. Cannot conquer its own personal greed to put your own need as people, forward. So these are some of the things that should be considered, because right now as we speak, it is no news. We don't need to deceive ourselves. The people left the government because their principal, who is the minister of the FCT, is having issues with the governor. And some of these people don't even have personal issues with the governor, but just because their principal is having a political tension with them, probably an instruction was given, those who are with me should demonstrate, and then everybody left.
Is it not also possible that some of them might have seen that because of the tension, the governor might eventually sack them, and because they saw that sack coming, they decided to just resign?
If that were to be their fears, what has changed? The governor still reserves, the rights and the authority, to fire whoever he appoints. Because of course, whichever way we are looking at it now, even though for us, we feel all these things are out of compulsion, is done because of the 8-point resolution from the Asu Rock Villa. The governor still reserves that right. He can even appoint them today, and the moment he feels comfortable, he sacks them the next day. It is still the same thing. Do you understand? But what we are saying is that individuals, leaders, should always place the interest of the state above every other interest. And as of today, the truth is, if these commissioners were to place the interest of the state above their own personal interest, they won't come back to that appointment, because they will know that the governor will not be comfortable working with them. That's the obvious truth. And then beyond that too, there's the issue of legality too in all of this thing that is going on right now, because these assembly members that are calling them for screening today as we speak, there is a legal torso that is hanging around their neck, around their candidacy. In fact, in some quota, the quota where I belong, I don't see them as assembly members, because they had openly contravened a section of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that made their seats vacant. And as we speak, they've not gone to a different party, the party that they come to go and seek renomination. INEC had not conducted a new election. So whatever they are doing in that assembly, that gathering that they are gathering in that assembly as we speak right now, is a nullity. You understand? So now, if you go by the Constitution and what it is right now, you can put anything on an illegal structure and expect it to stand. As I speak to you, a lot of persons are in court. This action that they are taking, whatever action that the Amembuli faction is taking, in the eyes of the law, as we speak today, it is a nullity. And then we should not thrive in impunity and expect that our state will move forward. Because primarily, the primary reason why these people were elected was to go and help to develop the state, to go and help, to provide laws that will drive the state forward. But when they now sit down and become the harbingers of impunity that is driving our state back, then it means that in the first place it was an error. Even bring them close to leadership.
All right, quickly, let's look at some messages and take a few calls. On Facebook, Ofum Henry says, I think the former commissioners are not coming to work for Rivers State. They are reappointed by the Governor Sim-led government of the state because they are former governor, because of the directives of the FCT minister. People with lack of integrity should not hold public office. Brown Kelvin Ogo General Justice says it's an exercise in futility. The government's house authenticated if the list emanated from them. That one from Dino Ujo Francis says, what is going on in the state is unconstitutional and should be dealt with, but the governor has decided to allow it. Why? So that even if... But I couldn't get that part. On WhatsApp, it says screening of the resigned commissioners by the embattled lawmakers is... I don't get what that one is. But coming back to lick their... That would be described as coming back to lick their vomit. I think whatever for peace should be done, but should be in obedience to the Constitution. I mean, for earnest. Ability Atwegu says, I don't think that would be any cordial relationship between the commissioners and the governor if they finally are reappointed. This will slow down development in the state. And an ultimate question I asked, Lenu, will come to you on that because perhaps you give a better response to it, but not very satisfied with how you responded, is whether the announcement of appointments of new permanent secretaries at various ministries, is that some sort of response to the move by the assembly members to talk about the screening of the 9 commissioners, or is it just an exercise being carried out to create some adjustments in the civil service? We'll get your response to that again just after a few more messages. It would be so shameful for these commissioners that tendered their resignation because of their conscience that will not allow them work with the governor. My question now is that they want to come back. Is the governor not still the governor of Rivers State? Good news, Tamino sent into this one from Ishoko. Another person says, we are not fools. Why will commissioners who deemed it necessary on their own wish to resign be called back for screening? There's always human resources is always available. There are other people willing to work. The commissioner should not be considered any longer as no one forced them to resign. What motivated them to do so should continue to be with them. Andrew from Iberia Moma, you sent that message in. This one says, what happened to the adage, he who must come to equity must come with clean hands? What happened to the golden rule? Do unto others what you want to do unto you. Let the minister and his supporters answer the above questions. If I was the governor of the state, these commissioners returning back will resign again due to frustration. Uche Onwachuku from Uboba sent that message. The commissioners who resigned, this one says, we're monitoring. I see them as monitoring spirits, and they are coming back to continue monitoring the governor. That's how I see it. Paul from Aoda sent that message in. We'll take a few calls first before we come to my guest. Ken is in Ubimini. Ken, good morning.
Good morning, Fiamandu, and your guest via telephone.
Go on, Ken.
I think yesterday would have been total judgment of the case between the governor and other candidates in other parties. Now, imagine that the resigned commissioners are now on board for another employment. It is very, very uncomfortable for the state to hear that those who were not sacked, they are on their own resigned based on their own private reasons. Now they are telling us again that they will be inaugurated or they will be also appointed as commissioners. What are we expecting in this state, for goodness sake? That is to say that what the FCT minister just said last week or earlier this week, that he has the right, or even if he appointed or called somebody from Quere land to be a governor, that nobody will challenge him. And this is exactly what is playing now. For him or for them to still appoint the same 9 commissioners who, in their own, indiscriminately drop their position to frustrate the governor. And the same people are coming to do what again in this state. It's very, very unfortunate.
All right, Ken Ubimini, thank you very much. But then in the times these commissioners were serving, did they really frustrate the development of the state or the plans of the governor? For instance, look at the Commissioner for Education. In the short time he was there, I mean, he took certain steps, did a few things to try and see how he can revolutionize that sector. And then for most of them, we also cannot say too much because they didn't really get the time to put their plans on ground for whatever they had in mind for Rivers people. So can we say that, they were frustrating the plans of the government as at the time they were commissioners? Pius in Yenegua. Okay, we lost that call. We go back to Woji. Emeka is on the line. Emeka, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Go ahead.
We are just fighting this issue. These commissioners are the ones that supported the governor during the campaign. The commissioner of education, the former of education, stepped down for him to contest for governor. Are you aware? I don't know Rivers people. I don't know Nigerians. This is one part of the agreement signed by the governor. It's aware that these people are coming back. You understand? See, if Sin happen to contest for second tenor, if these people pull out, Sin will find it difficult to go back. If at all the party will even decide to even ticket back again. People that are talking on it now don't know when this will start down and say, Sin, our leader, we are going to support you. Is it because they have an issue? Now, if they are coming back to serve leaders so people know that they decide because of political issue. It's political. So when people are saying that they want they for me, don't think it's neither here nor there. It's political. Sin has its own issues. That's what I'm telling you. Sin has its own issues.
Governor, Emeka Oji, thank you very much. Thank you. But please, be very... Thank you. And then secondly, the people do not know that they resigned because of political issues, because that was not what they said. If they were resigning for political issues, they would have clearly stated it. Nobody was going to hurt anybody if you had said in your letter, because of the political situation, it's now uncomfortable for you to work and you think you should, retire and go home until these issues are resolved. Then you could consider whether you want to come back and work. If I was in their position, perhaps that was how I would have written my letter. I don't know. But they stated specifically what their reasons are. Those who said personal reasons perhaps are the ones that we would say, okay, what was your personal reason that wasn't stated? That's on one side. And the second angle to look at it from, like I pointed out, it's also possible that they saw that because of what is happening, maybe the governor would want to sack them. Maybe because somebody thinks that, they are friends with the minister, so I don't want these people in my cabinet. And maybe they saw that coming and some of them decided to resign. That is also very possible. But overall, they are coming back as commissioners. Would it not have impact on the development of the state? I think that's where the question lies. What your view about it is. Mufasa from NTA Road. Good morning.
Yeah, hi, Andrew. Good morning. And good morning to Solomon, Lenu. I think he has spoken well. He said something which is very instructive to me. He asked, can two work together unless they agree? The answer is, it's in the affirmative. Now, let us not even begin to look at the legitimacy of the masses group to even conduct that exercise, because that is even in contention. For me, they are even progressing in error by still going ahead to sit and be doing what they are doing. But look at it from this angle. Now, when former Governor Wike was governor, we have the likes of Mr. Austin Sam George and some other commissioners who resigned. Some of them were sacked. Okay, we have Punabon Potara, who was working with the governor as special assistant in sending matter. Would the former governor allow anybody to impose commissioner on him? The governor said in his word that he has a covenant with Rivers people, and that anybody who is not going to work in his own pace and speed will not even be given any chance. He said so. That was what the former governor said. And he said if you cannot give him 100% loyalty, you have no business working with him as a commissioner. And now we are seeing a situation currently in this state where a governor cannot even control his own commissioner. Now, how do you not expect such an administration to function properly? When you as a governor, you have commissioners, but those commissioners report to another person. So for me, I do not think this should even be considered, because if you want to consider integrity as somebody who has the intention to work, you shouldn't even come back in the first place to say that you want to appear before any committee for screening to return back to the position that you resign willingly. For me, this goes to show how questionable the character of some of these politicians are. No wonder Erufai said most of our Nigerian politicians, they have flexible morals and integrity, and that should be shared.
All right, Mufasa, thank you. We go over to Okrika now. In Okrika, Muriel is on the line. Muriel, good morning.
Thank you, Femi. Good morning.
Morning to you, Muriel. Go on.
Firstly, I want to thank your guests. These are some of the persons that try to uphold the sanctity and integrity of the state, in fact, the sanctity, and trying to show leaders that they must, whether they like it or not, do the right thing, and I praise them for it. Look, you see me, when persons tell you that they are tired of working with you, then you try to bring them back. Just so you cannot get optimal performance from them. It's as if you're poking them. And because I've not heard from the governor and I trust him so much. Look, people that are quiet sometimes, that don't talk much, they hardly make mistakes. And because he has not said anything, I don't want to believe that he is the one that wants to bring back these commissioners. And the former governor has clearly seen that these commissioners are loyal to him. Why does he not have any room for them anywhere? Why doesn't he absorb them? He has a ministry holding. And certainly there will be spaces, there will be something for these people. Absorb those people that are loyal to you now. Don't force it on others. Now the governor is making moves to make sure he appoints permanent secretaries. I hail him for it. Let this PAMSEC go and carry the duties of these commissioners. Now this is a bold move to tell me that is supporting the governor that he knows what he's doing. Trust me. And the people, the assembly members, FEME, are they not illegitimate assembly members? Why is it that our institutions don't function? Why? Why is it our institutions stay dead all the time? These people are illegitimate, and they come out boldly to carry out functions that they are not supposed to, and there are no consequences. Nobody is answering them. So as far as I'm concerned, whoever they appoint, whoever they nominate, whatever they do is null and void. In the meantime, until the court says otherwise.
Okay.
So I want to plead with the governor, the former governor, to please, for the sake of precedent, for the sake of that, for the fact that if he would like his children to, he and his children will come back and remain in this state, and he will want his children to carry out leadership responsibilities in the near future. So please,
all right, Muriel, let's get on to Alfred. Alfred is in Emoha. Let's hear from Alfred, and then we come back to my guest as we wrap up. Alfred, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
Yeah, come on.
Good morning to your guest, Solomon. I think you're doing very nice, and Rivers people are absolutely happy with you and all that you're doing. Andrew, let me just ask you a question, even though you're not in position to answer. Andrew, how many times have you seen this commissioner that you say we want to work with the governor around him? Yesterday, we witnessed the laying of the wreath of the armed forces. Did you see any of these commissioners? Would you want to work with someone that is not close with you? In all the functions that the state government has done, did you see any of these commissioners? And so many persons that have called have told you, can you work with except they agree? The answer is no. So if the answer is no, how do you think this will be possible? Yesterday and today, we had several announcements wherein the governor had appointed a permanent secretary and directors. Today they will be sworn in. So how do you think this permanent secretary will not do the work of the commissioner? What does even the commissioner do? Is even the permanent secretary and directors that do all the work? Their name is there is just to answer the name. So their appointment today is just nothing. And what they are doing, even in your radio station, I have not heard that the governor have sent me to the assembly as was instituted in that 8-point resolution. And if you come to think of it, you see that these people, they are trying to heighten or worsen this resolution. Because I think in that 8-point resolution, it stated that the governor should reappoint those persons that resigned in the various commissions. And today, he heard that the clerk is sending name to the assembly for reappointment. So is it the clerk that is supposed to send the name, or the governor will send the name? So is it that these people are just trying to heighten or make up them where there is none? And then I want to call on President Tinubu to see these people that they are causing more problems in this.
All right, Alfred.
But in that resolution, he didn't say that they should reappoint themselves. He said governors should reappoint them. Thank you.
All right, Alfred, thank you. Let's go to Lenu now. Lenu, in about less than 2 minutes. So what's your response to this? How do we handle this going forward, especially with the appointment of new permanent secretaries, the fact that we've not gotten confirmation on whether it was the governor who sent in the names, and importantly, We know that in that agreement, 8-point agreement, one of them include for the commissioners who resigned to be called back. Few seconds.
First and foremost, on the issue of the permanent secretaries, I think that's just an administrative procedure. People resign, civil servants retire from service at the end of their stipulated service year. And like I said, for 8 years, there has not been, any employment and even promotion. So I think that the appointment of new permanent secretaries are merely administrative procedures, which is normal in the civil service. Now, going back to the commissioners who are trying to come back now, I just want to say something here. These people, the local government chairmen, the commissioners, and all this.
Okay, Lenu, just hold on to that thought. Let's take this commercial. We'll be back.
Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Hanging on for us. Okay, so but we're getting your response as we wrap things up.
Yes, I just wanted to send out thoughts and an advice to those commissioners that are trying to be strange. What I want to say is that they should understand that by this action and by what is going on, they are mere weapon in the hand of a strong man. They are mere weapon of war in the hand of a strong man. And the person or the entity they are warring, they are using them to war against are the people of Rivers State and not the governor per se, because as of today, the office of that governor is bigger than the governor himself, is a representation of the entirety of Rivers State. So if you allow yourself to be the weapon in this warfare, you are actually working against Rivers State and Rivers State. So, if you are patriotic, do the right thing at this time.
All right.
Recuse yourself remove yourself from this battlefield, from this fight that's going on, because you are just being used as a means to an end. You are not the end in itself.
Thank you very much, Lenu. Your point has been made.
You will no longer be needed.
Thank you, Lenu, for your contribution. Have a great day yourself. My name is Ifeami Andrew. This is where we wrap things up, and we go for the news at 9 afterwards. Hello, Port Harcourt. Jude is already in the building, and I'm guaranteeing you it's going to be an amazing time. Good morning.